And Nick, he needs to share a screen with you.
Yeah, he's all good.
Okay, I'm talking to you, but I kept myself on mute. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Garrick. Almost. Yeah, I think it was about a year since I last spoke to you, just before this major event has happened. So glad to be out again, promoting BayEast Global Network and what resources we have here at BayEast. So working with foreign clients, growing your global real estate business. And I always thought that, you have to go do global business, but we're fortunate here because we live in the Bay Area. A lot of global business actually comes to us. So if we're versed in global business and if we're ready to receive it, then we are able to handle the business as it comes. And I think having more tools and knowing where to look and how to address issues is very helpful in our business. Okay, let's see, switch sides. Hi, I'm Garrick. I am a former engineer, and then I became an engineer, became teacher, and then in about 2012, I got a license and started selling real estate. While I was a teacher, I actually was learning to be an investor. So I got into the business more as an investor rather than as a realtor. But being a realtor has been good. So that's my background. I am CIPS, Certified International Property Specialist. I've been the past president of Asian Real Estate Association America. I currently chair the BayEast Global Business Network. And within our own brokerage, I lead the Asian network. Okay. So what is the BayEast Global Network? So the BayEast Global Network is, the purpose of our group is actually to bring business in multicultural and global markets. Our business and our global network started in 2019, and we've had the privilege of earning the silver recognition for 2 years already. So we've just applied for 2021. This actually is a very big accolade for BayEast because it puts us on the map. It shows that we have the resources and the support for our members to do global business. Other associations call it a Global Business Council. So ours is a global network. Why should you consider global, or why is it important? And here are some of the stats that came back from BayEast survey sometime before. 52% of BayEast members surveyed say they speak at least one other language other than English. Chinese, Spanglish, and Hindi are the most common of those languages, and 42% of the respondents said that some part of their business comes from global business. How many of you had some form of global business this past year or the years before? Like either you had a client from a different country, or they spoke a different language, or they had money from somewhere else. Raise your hand. Actually, I can't see. Okay, there. Hi, Anna May. I see you raise your hand. That's cool. Awesome. All right, let's keep going. All right, some further stats. Residential properties purchased by foreign buyers. The main foreign buyers are China, Canada, UK, India, and Mexico. 72% of the non-residents made all cash purchases, and 30% of the foreign paid all cash. Okay, non-residents. Non-resident would be like, hey, they don't even live here, so they just bought the property and keeping it as an investment. 30% actually just they live here. Okay, so 52% of foreign buyers purchase properties as their primary residence. Residential properties sold by foreigners. So 48% of those are sold in the U.S., originated from Canada, China, Mexico, India, and the UK. 61% of the properties sold were in Florida, California, Texas, Arizona, and New York. And these stats come from the NAR website. So I break down the global business and the foreign buyers into three categories. I look at it as inbound business. So these are buyers that come to the United States, or maybe they don't come out here actually. Maybe they're virtual buyers. So they have an interest, they're buying real estate in the United States, either to live here or to invest here. They look at the United States as the land of opportunity. They look here as a better rate of return on their investment than potentially elsewhere. So if you think about stocks, right? You say, okay, well, do I buy a large cap, small cap? Do I buy a startup? Do I buy something in tech? Do I buy something in pharmaceuticals? So if a buyer for real estate is going to look at, hey, do I buy in the UK? Do I buy in Australia? Do I buy in Singapore, Canada? The world is their option. They have many choices to put their money. What is the most tax favorable for them? What makes sense for them politically, environmentally? All these are factors when you look at global real estate. Okay. So when they're looking at, okay, they look at the United States. We're economically stable. We're environmentally healthier. Immigration might make sense for them because maybe they're looking to move to the United States for permanent residency. Some of the when you have a Chinese buyer, and I think that's the stereotype is that, hey, we're all cash buyers. I'm Chinese. I'm not a cash buyer. Okay, I think that's a little bit of a stereotype. Not all Chinese foreign buyers are cash buyers. There are some that do. They're maybe moving their money from outside the United States and parking it here, treating U.S. real estate like a Swiss account for a safe haven, for security. But a lot of Chinese buyers also come here to work. So when they're working here, they're starting from zero, and they built up their wealth, and then they finally are able to buy a property. So they're not all of them are cash buyers. I like the graphics. We're not all crazy rich. Other considerations, I've worked with Indian buyers. They come to the United States with an H-1B visa, and this is not all the cases, but this is what I've seen, right? But they might look at a ranch house and say, well, wow, that's a really old house. It's built in the 50s and 60s. That's really old. Why would I want to buy that? Is it going to fall apart? And then that comes when you have to bring some education. Because there's 1950s, 1960s stock is very common in the Bay Area. And if the previous owner has done the right renovations, taken care of the house, renovated it, done the proper inspections, you've got a sturdy house. Very popular styles too. The reason is because a lot of Indian buyers may have bought brand new construction in their home country because there's a lot of development in their home country with new construction. So buying something new is very common. Different other real estate differences are, for example, in Vietnam, there is no title insurance. And this is something that guarantee that if you bought that house here with title, clear title, that is your house, and nobody has a claim to it. You wouldn't have a call back from, yeah, my grandfather owned that land 3 generations ago, and I'm coming back to claim it. So title insurance, yes, that's a good thing. Referrals. If you make yourself available and known that you sell here in the Bay Area, you'll have people outside of the area refer business to you. Maybe you travel, maybe you join associations that work with foreign professionals. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Outbound business. Maybe you work with your favorite clients here in the Bay Area. And now it's time for them to diversify their real estate holdings. Maybe that retirement outside of the United States, or looking for a second home. Maybe they want to vacation somewhere often, but don't spend, too long over there. So here's an example. I went on a trade mission to India to learn about the culture, to see the country, and to see what India has to offer. And these are the two the photo on the left is of me in India. The photo on the right is actually a new development in Dubai. They were selling single families and condos in Dubai. Dubai offered guaranteed rent and for your unit, so it was kind of very favorable. You bought the place, you didn't have to manage it. They would just send you a check after it was rented out, and you'd be guaranteed rent for 3 years. So that was Dubai. So maybe you wanted to retire in Mexico and you want to spend a month in Mexico every year. So you buy what is called a condotel, which is a condo hotel. So 4 weeks of the year you could live in Mexico, and then the other 11 months the place will be rented out and you'd be earning returns for your, you don't have to maintain it. The hotel chain will take care of your condo. Let's see, next one. Oh, and the third one here, I don't have a slide for it, and I should make a slide, is completely outside the United States or completely outside of the host country. So it is possible. So we have inbound, outbound, and outside. So let's say you are the conduit. Let's say, so actually this is an example from a friend of mine has. So she has a good connection. She has good real estate connections in Hong Kong, and she has a connection with the builder in Dubai, and she sells Dubai condos to Hong Kong residents. She's an American citizen. So completely outside of the United States, that can happen too. You can get the connection and earn the referrals. Pay attention to the market. Pay attention to what is happening everywhere. What's happening with currency, what's happening with currency controls, what are the current events, what cultures, what's happening, what are the major events that are happening in the world right now. You could type in the chat box. What are some big things that are happening right now? This is the interactive portion.
Well, I know there's a lot of people talking about crypto, right? And so is that something that you see when you
Wow. I didn't think about that one, but yes, that is important too. I should be adding that to the slides soon. Crypto is important. What else is important? What else is going on? Delta and Mu, definitely. Not everyone is ready to get up and go out and travel. People are like at home. So having this conversation last year during pandemic probably wouldn't have been appropriate because people were concerned about keeping a job or keeping some income, let alone buying real estate outside the United States. So this was very sensitive. Afghanistan, definitely. Okay, the fires and floods, yes, definitely. These are domestic issues, but what about global issues? Any thoughts on those? What other global issues are? Afghanistan for sure. Other things that we didn't talk, hasn't been brought up yet. Taiwan, China has a conflict. Pollution, Cuba. I'm Asian, so I'm kind of leaning more towards the Asian side and sees most of those things. But there are other issues as well, and I'm not as familiar with them. But if that's your clientele, that's the areas that you need to pay attention in. Okay, so in this picture here, the photo on the left is a protest from Hong Kong protesting China's entry into Hong Kong because they were supposed to be granted 50 years of 2 systems, 1 country, but that was apparently cut short, and China now governs Hong Kong more than they had expected. So that 50-year term turned into like 20, and that was a lot of protests. The photo on the right was showing the protests in Venezuela when I think there was a government coup, and then they had experienced hyperinflation. So when you have things like this, people start to move. People move for their own security. People move for better opportunities. One of my former, because I'm a teacher, one of my former students, his family is Chinese. They live in Venezuela. They were looking for ways to exit because of the unrest and the high unemployment. So they kept their foot here in the United States, And if they needed to leave, they were going to leave. If they felt they were threatened, that was what they were going to do. Prepare yourself. And I think opportunities show up. And if you're not ready to receive it, it's not going to be an opportunity. So we always have to be educated ahead of time, expose ourselves, know how to respond prior to the opportunity. Then we can make good use of it. Okay, so how do we do that? Learn and immerse ourselves. Okay, At Home with Diversity is a NAR course certification that is offered by NAR. You can take that course. It's I'm going to talk about on the next slide. Certified International Property Specialist is a 5-day course. It's a designation. Kiss, Bow, or Shake Hands is a book on how to respond to people in different cultures. Acceptable Practice. Go on a trade mission. Learn what other cultures do or eat or how to do business. Is it appropriate to show up on time, ahead of time, or late? Well, what we call late. Okay, everything's relative. So if the dinner appointment says 5 o'clock, it meant show up at 8. Interesting. MIPIM is an international conference as well. Traditionally, it's held in Cannes, France, in March. It's been canceled for the past, I think, 2 years. That would be an opportunity to meet other developers globally. The FIAPSI World Congress is another event. So this past year was supposed to be held in Paris. This year had been canceled, and we'll see if it will be offered again next year. International conferences like that will connect you with international real estate practitioners. So that way it'll facilitate referrals and say, hey, I know an agent in Greece. I know an agent in Belgium. That can happen. One of my other friends, she met a client in Cannes, and they were from Germany. No, from Belgium. They met in Cannes for a project in Germany. So it was crazy. It was interesting. ARIA National Convention is coming to San Francisco, and that's in October. That's the Asian Real Estate Association. That is a national association. So this would be an opportunity to learn more about Asian real estate here in San Francisco. So cost is very low. It's only $400. So that's easy opportunity. You don't have to fly. You can take BART. At Home with Diversity. Official certification. Learn how to understand the basic competencies to earn the confidence of potential buyers and sellers regarding race, ethnicity, religion, gender, handicaps, familial status, and national origin. I think this is an easy entryway into global, because I think if you handle your clients locally better, I think that'll prepare you for the next step. So CIPS was the course that I took. It is a 5-day course. These are the 5 courses. You can take this in one swoop, 1 week, so 8 hours a day, 5 days, or you can break it up and take it one class at a time. So ARIA offered one course at their convention, and I said, oh, that's an interesting course. So I took it. I took the course. I took it one course, and then I took another course at a different convention. So it took me 2.5 years to finish this one. So I took one course in Hawaii, one course in Las Vegas, one course in San Diego, and I took the last 2 here in Santa Clara. What's good about attending this course in person is you get to meet the instructor, and the instructor is more than likely to be a global business practitioner and has a lot of global business experience. They'll tell you and they'll share with you the practices and the stories that they've had in their own personal real estate practice. And it's always interesting how they solve these problems. Okay. So there's benefits to taking the class online, and there's, as opposed to in person. And you also get to meet 20, 30 other real estate professionals in the room which could be potentially your referral partners. Okay. Here we go with connect with associations. Okay. So here in the Bay Area, we have these are the few cultural professional associations here in the Bay Area that you can connect with. So Asian Real Estate Association, FIAPSIS, the International Real Estate Federation, is a global network. NAREP is a Hispanic Association. FARIPA is a Filipino association. Chinese Real Estate, okay. Vietnamese Association is VNARP. They're in San Jose. Who is on your global real estate team? And that's going to be important too. So in your team, you should include referral partners. Who are if you are the go-to agent representing the Bay Area for that friend, then when your partner refers it, they're going to say, yeah, Garrick, he's the one in the Bay Area. Make yourself known, okay? Mortgage and finance. Is your lender able to do non-resident loans? Do you have somebody to help them? Not everyone's going to come with all cash. Maybe they come with 30% down payment, 35% down payment. Then where do they get the balance of their loan? Do they get the loan from their home country, or do they get it here in the United States? Who is able to certify that? Who, tax professionals. When your foreign buyer or seller sells, what are the tax consequences? What's the FERPTA requirement? Do they know about the withholding? Do they need to pay US taxes? Do they need to pay taxes for when they go home, bring their money home? Attorneys and legal. You definitely need one of these so that they can give the right counsel. Remember, we sell real estate and that's our license. So we should not be giving tax advice nor legal advice. So be very careful. Okay. Point them to the right places. Case studies. This is my personal stuff. Canadian buyer referral. So 2 years ago, the Warriors made it to the finals. Yay, Warriors. We were playing the Toronto Raptors, and unfortunately, we lost. We had a bet that the Warriors will win, but we lost, unfortunately, and we made a donation. Me and my friends at ARIA, we made a donation to the foundation to say we lost the bet. Out of that, the Toronto chapter president of ARIA remembers that I'm here in the Bay Area, and I was able to service his clients. So they made the referral here. It was a $2.5 million deal. Okay, so for a buyer that was here locally in the Bay Area. Okay. Then because of that connection, I got the referral. I was able to close the sale and also refer back money back to the agent in Canada. Okay, Taiwan seller. Husband, wife is in Taiwan, could not come back to the United States because of the pandemic and did not want to come back because the COVID standards were quarantined for 2 weeks, and you could not leave. So, and then once you were left, after the quarantine, was safe to travel around the country. But here in the United States, it's all your honor system. It's, hey, yeah, please quarantine yourself. Don't see anybody. But whether people do that or not is a different story. So we had to figure out how they were going to sell their property in Fremont, but the seller was in Taiwan. Okay, but the husband was here in the United States. He works here. Eventually, their daughter was graduating from San Diego. She flew over, got her vaccines, then they signed their papers in San Diego, and we closed the deal. Not a problem. Canadian seller, the girlfriend was in Taiwan. The boyfriend was in Canada. Their property was here in the United States. So in this case, yeah, so they each had to talk to their own tax professionals. Going back to the Canadian buyer one, that was another. I wanted to finish that story. Sorry, I just missed it. The detail. The wife of the buyer, grandfather was sick in Italy and did not tell me that she was flying to Italy in the middle of the transaction. It was an emergency, so completely understood. Okay. He wouldn't be able to come back in time to sign documents here in the United States because from Italy, there was no direct flight back into the United States because of the quarantine block. Because there was no transportation. I mean, the gates were closed. So she was a Canadian resident, so she had to fly into Canada, quarantine in Canada for 2 weeks before coming to the United States. And we sent out the power of attorney to Italy. She had to go find a consulate to go sign the papers at. Luckily, it was only an hour away. So she got a car, got to the signing authority, signed it, signed 2 copies, both copies DHL back to the escrow company, signed 2 copies just in case one got lost, because if the other one didn't make it or one didn't make it, it'd be at least a week delay to get all that paperwork done. But we closed.
Derek, I hate to interrupt you, but we're running out of time.
Sorry, I'm
Maybe
running
it's
out of time. Okay, I'll
possible
wrap
we
it up.
get you-
Okay.
Yes, we get you to come back.
Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. It was really fast. Resources, check out NAR and BayEast. Go global. What's your next step? That's it. Thank you.
Right on. Thanks, Garrick. A lot of information, and